Question 2. They give me f of x, they give me g of x, and they say find the function h of x and make sure it looks like 2x squared minus 4x minus 7. Now they say h of x is made up of g of f of x, also known as g after f of x. So if this is g of x, and when they mean g after f of x, anywhere I have an x here, I'm going to replace it with this. So I have 2 times 1 minus x to be squared, minus 9, clean that up. And you end up with 2x squared minus 4x minus 7, which is what they asked for. So that's part A. B part 1 then, this is now what h of x is, and in B part 1 they asked me to write h of x in a certain format. So they want me to write it in the format a bracket x plus b to be squared plus c. This is a little bit of a tricky completing the square because of the way they want me to write it. So they're going to take my h of x. I'm going to take my 2 out in common here, because I can take it out even from the format that they've given me. And then I remember that obviously I want to complete the square here. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to half it and square it. And I'm going to add a 1, but I can't just do what I like. So I'm going to also subtract a 1. So, and I need to make sure that every line is the same as the previous one, which it is in this situation. Now, this is the part that I want to look at here, and this is the part that I'm going to complete the square in. So I have 2 times, and if you complete this square, it is x minus 1 to be squared. Now, you know, if I multiplied all this back out, I'd be back up here at this point. So I need to be careful here that if now that I've gone outside this bracket, that that's actually a minus 2, because that multiplied by that. So I actually have 2 minus 1 to be squared minus 9. That's it in the format that they asked for. So that is B part 1. And then B part 2, they asked me to work with that again, and they say to use that or otherwise to find the turning points of h of x. Well, usually the trick to completing the square is the reason that you want to find the turning points quickly. So I can use that, and I can write down straight away. I know the turning points are 1 and minus 9. Sorry, that's the turning point, that's the x value, and that's the y value. Okay, now if you wanted to do it differently, you could always use your calculus, because they did say otherwise, hence or otherwise. So you could go back and go, okay, well, h of x is this. What do I know about a turning point? I know that its slope is 0, so I'm going to give myself the formula for slope by differentiating. And I can work out that x is 1. And I can go back into this, sub it back into the original. And I'll get out minus 9. And I can again say, well, that's another way of finding my turning point. And then 2 part C, they said the function k of x is the image of h of x under a translation. The coordinates of the turning points k of x are minus 1, minus 5. Find k of x. Well, if it's the image of it under a translation, it means we're looking at the same idea here, that we know that this is linked. You know, this is h of x. K of x is just going to be, instead of the 1 here, I'm going to put in a minus 1. And instead of the minus 9 here, I'm going to put in a minus 5. Because I have the turning point of the exact same type of function. It's just moved. It's under a translation. So h of x is 2 bracket x minus 1 to be squared minus 9. I'm going to replace that with the minus 1 and the minus 5. That's getting replaced and that's getting replaced. And then I can just work that out. Square that out, x squared plus 2x plus 1 minus 5. Again, multiply that out and you'll eventually end up with 2x squared plus 4x minus 3, which is k of x, which is what they asked for.